Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back.
Hey, welcome to Health to Battle. I'm back home, and that's awesome. Now, for those of you who don't read the community text pages on my channel or don't follow me on Blue Sky or Facebook, you might have been wondering why you've been seeing nothing but compilations for these past weeks. Well, let me explain what's been going on. It all started back on Easter Sunday. In the late afternoon, I started experiencing some discomfort. Nothing major, wasn't even really pain, but definitely I felt a little discomfort. We'll leave it at that. Unfortunately, in the coming days after that, there was now more discomfort and then pain. To the point where I figured I couldn't really script or work on Half the Battle, so it was time to go see my doctor, which I promptly did. And I got a diagnosis and some medicine. Unfortunately, it turned out to be the wrong diagnosis. Now, hindsight is 20/20, and it was something that was quite difficult to diagnose, so I can't be too mad, but I was still pretty pissed at the time, because it meant a whole bunch of nothing happening except my actual problem getting bigger, both literally and figuratively. So yeah, for the next few days the pain increased to the point where I was, okay, this is not working, I need to get to the ER, which again I promptly did. And once there, blood was taken, tests were run, I was prodded and poked. And after a while, the ER doctor came back to me and she said, okay, I've just been talking with your surgeon. And I was like, you did what with my who now? Because I feel we've missed a few steps here. But she was like, no, we have to get you under the knife pretty quickly. It was already early evening then, so they didn't want to do it right then and there. But I was scheduled to have surgery the next morning, or at least before noon the next day. Meanwhile, I was admitted to the hospital proper, I was given a bed, as well as intravenous heavy painkillers and heavy antibiotics. Had my first good night's sleep in quite a few days, because I had gotten very little sleep and I had eaten very little. As for why the operation had to be relatively quickly, well, remember I said they took blood? Well, in those blood tests they found levels of infection that were approaching alarming quantities. That's something you really don't want to hear in a hospital, alarming. So yeah, they had to get the bad stuff out of me pretty quickly. And indeed, the next morning I had the surgery, everything went well. The surgeon was happy, I was very happy because there was no more pain. So that happened on the 29th, so 9 days after my first symptoms. And later that week on Friday, they gave me the okay to go home. Well, home. I didn't go back here. I decided to recuperate at my parents' place. Well, there were a few reasons for that. First of all, I was given medicine again to take home, painkillers and heavy antibiotics still. And most of the drugs had to be taken with food, and I was in no condition to make myself 3 meals a day, so luckily my parents stepped up for that. For another reason, I don't have a shower here, I only have a bathtub, which has served me well so far, but I couldn't really take baths because of the surgery. Showers were better. So that was reason number 2. Reason number 3 was you never know if something could go wrong, and I'd rather someone was with me in the house so they could act if need be. Luckily that wasn't necessary in the end, but still, you want to take some precautions. And the last and most important reason, during my recovery I needed to have every day a small but invasive medical procedure done. This could be done at home, because we have a nursing service that comes to your home and takes care of that kind of stuff. And my parents' place was just more suited for that, because again, they had a shower and nurses had to use the shower for that. I'm not going to go into detail, but yeah, it was very convenient that I could go to my parents' place. Unfortunately, that meant that I couldn't script or work on videos or do anything like that. But to be honest, I was recovering from surgery, so I wasn't really in the mood or capable of doing that anyway, so that's why you get all those compilations. They can be made really quickly. The only thing that takes time is rendering the video and uploading it to YouTube. And fortunately, my dad was kind enough to take me home every Saturday so I could spend a few hours doing that, just so YouTube wouldn't bury my channel. Because YouTube abhors a vacuum, so I had to put out something. Of course, viewership is way down because of that, and I expected that. I don't really mind. For those of you who have been watching, thank you so much. And strangely enough, I thought maybe I'd lose subscribers, but I actually gained like 10 on what's essentially reruns. I never understand YouTube, really. But yeah, thanks for sticking with me. I didn't lose subscribers, I didn't lose any patrons on Patreon, so thank you all so much for being there. As for what I was doing for the rest of my time, bed rest mostly, and walking around a bit, just, you know, to keep doing something to keep my body from atrophying, basically. So, but most of the time was spent in bed or on a couch. Now, fortunately, I had a setup. It was actually in my childhood bedroom. I put a TV there with a portable hard drive that had lots of videos on it, so I could watch that. And I had a SNES Mini, so I could play some games. For the first time ever, I've been playing Earthbound, and it's terrific. So, fast forward to this week. I went to the hospital again for a scheduled checkup with my surgeon, and everything was progressing beautifully. Infection levels were way down, and I didn't need to have the medical procedure done every day anymore. In fact, that could stop completely. And I'm just on one medicine now that I do have to apply daily, but that's it. I'm healthy, I'm good. I'm not completely over it, but better than I've been since, well, Easter, basically. So what does that mean for Half the Battle? Well, I'm starting to script from basically today, but that does mean that you're still gonna have a few compilations. The Saturday Shorty for tomorrow and next week's episode, because there just isn't time to do all of that in a few days. I'm gonna need to take a week to get scripts done and to make sure that I have time to film and take photos and everything. So last week of compilations, thanks so much for your patience. Hey, this patient is thankful for your patience. And yeah, Half the Battle will be back after next week. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, this isn't scripted either. I do, however, I have notes. Well, actually, this is just a list of bullet points, stuff that I definitely wanted to say, and to make sure I don't forget anything that I want to convey here. Especially this next bit. I have to thank you all so much for your patience again. I have to thank you for sticking with me. I didn't lose any subscribers, I didn't lose anything. So yeah, thanks for being there, and pretty soon I'll be back being there for you guys. Now, finally, I do want to address something that I think is really important and might actually, if there's even a 1% chance that it saves somebody, that's reason enough for me to say what I'm about to say. You see, I have a rule when it comes to my health. A very important rule that I picked up, in my early 20s, I don't know. It's quite simple. You know the expression, "Oh, I almost died of embarrassment"? Well, you can literally die of embarrassment. That's because when something is wrong in certain regions of your body, let me use a prop here, Battle Android Trooper, I love these, love these guys. So yeah, if you have a problem in your, shall we say, backside, or your, well, front side, I suppose, or anywhere in between. Basically, the waist piece of the human body. Waist, you can take that both ways. Anyway, yeah. Some people, male, female, other, if they have a problem there, they might be embarrassed and reluctant to tell anybody, or reluctant to even go see their doctor or go to the ER. And unfortunately, that can be very dangerous. That can make a small medical problem a large medical problem, and can even have fatal results. Now, that's the rule that I was alluding to. It's a simple rule. That was never gonna happen to me. I was not gonna die of embarrassment. And this is the perfect example of that. As soon as I thought, hey, there's something seriously wrong here, I went to the doctor, and then I went to the ER. And each time I explained my symptoms in detail, in exquisite detail, in erotic detail. Okay, maybe not that last one. My point is, yes, that can be embarrassing, but you can get over being embarrassed. Things going badly because you were afraid or embarrassed to go to a doctor, that's something you might not get over. Yeah, remember when I said that the infection levels in my blood were becoming alarming? If I had been stupid and not gone to the ER for like, I don't know, another week or 2 weeks, that could have been a serious health issue. That could have been actually quite dangerous. So, once again, my advice to you, you can get over embarrassment. You might not get over what happens if you stay embarrassed and don't do anything because of that. That's what you have to take away from this video. What happened to me? I'm the guy who makes dick jokes about G.I. Joe. So yeah, I want to get back to that as soon as possible. Anyway, thanks everybody for taking the time to watch this video. And yeah, half the battle is gonna be back. And I'm so excited, I'm so happy. And oh, one more thing, of course, I forgot. I have been getting a lot of well wishes, thoughts, prayers in the comment section, on Facebook, on Blue Sky even. I've read every single one of them. I couldn't respond because at my parents' place there's very limited internet access, and I had to take time to recover. But I want you to know, if you've posted something, I have read it, and I really, really appreciate it. It's very humbling, and it helps. It really did help. So thank you all for that. Okay, that's pretty much it, so I'll end the way I usually end. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.
Guess who's back?